The Forgotten War in Angola, How the U.S. Fought Communism Without Firing a Bullet. Introduction. Most people have heard about the Cold War between the United States and the Soviet Union, but few realize that Africa was one of the most strategic chessboards in that global game. One of the most intense and underreported battlegrounds of this indirect conflict was Angola. In this educational breakdown, we'll explore how the United States supported one side of a civil war in Angola. Not with soldiers, but with money, weapons, and ideology, all in a bid to stop communism from spreading. Angola's Civil War. How it began. When Angola gained independence from Portugal in 1975, it didn't step into peace. Instead, three major political factions emerged. 1. MPLA, Popular Movement for the Liberation of Angola, backed by the Soviet Union and Cuba. 2. UNITA, National Union for the Total Independence of Angola, supported by the U.S. and South Africa. 3. FNLA, National Front for the Liberation of Angola, also initially supported by the U.S. These groups quickly turned on each other, plunging the country into a violent civil war that lasted for nearly 30 years. U.S. involvement, the fight against communism. The United States never officially declared war in Angola, but its involvement was significant. The CIA funneled support to UNITA, led by Jonas Savimbi. American policymakers saw Angola as part of the global struggle against communism. This was all part of the broader Cold War strategy of containment, stopping the spread of Soviet-backed governments. The Cuban and Soviet alliance. On the other side, the MPLA received massive support from Cuba and the Soviet Union. Thousands of Cuban troops were deployed. The Soviets sent arms, intelligence, and financial backing. Angola became a Cold War flashpoint in southern Africa, a battle fought by others on African soil. How it ended. The Cold War ended in the early 1990s, but Angola's conflict continued until 2002. Only after the death of Jonas Savimbi and years of peace negotiations did the fighting come to a close. Today, Angola is slowly recovering, but the scars of those decades remain. Why this matters. Today, Angola's story shows us that war doesn't always look like boots on the ground. Foreign influence can turn local issues into decades of instability. Africa's history is deeply connected to global politics. Understanding this part of history helps us see how international interests often shape the destiny of developing nations.